You're listening to the Heroes Power Hour presented by BlizzPro.com. Your hosts, Balrog fan Zexorus and DJ Tyrant. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heroes Power Hour, presented to you by BlizzPro.com and partnered with Legion by Lenovo and Intel. This is episode number 88 of the Heroes Power Hour, Heroes of the Storm podcast. And with me, as always, is the awesome crew here. Balrog fan, how are you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Got a train, so maybe go to Zex first.
All right. Apparently trains like to pass by a Balrog fan's house. Zex, how you doing? Looks like you're feeling a little under the weather. You're a little static there.
Yeah, I feel like crap. It's not been a fun week. I thought I was getting better, and then I woke up this morning and I'm like, yeah, no, this is not where I want to be. My sides hurt. Like, I've only played like 3 games of Heroes this week, and it was all zul'jin, and I won every game. Like half doped up on whatever cough medicine.
Yeah.
On. So well, it's been a week.
Yeah, most definitely. I hope you feel better soon. But thank you for joining us to talk a little bit about Heroes of the Storm. And speaking of that, thank you Blizzard for once again promoting us on the launcher and on their social media. So thank you to those of you who are checking us out for the first time from those channels. We're not Blizzard. Some people confuse us and think that we're actually Blizzard, but we're just fans of Heroes of the Storm. We like talking about it. So make sure to check out BlizzPro.com as well, since we have you here, as that's a really great resource for everything Blizzard related. Every game is covered there, and there's a lot of content for all the games out right now, especially even Heroes. We went live last week and we talked about zul'jin. We had no idea what the patch was going to bring, but we did get that the day after, and so we actually are going to quickly talk about those changes as they did. The big thing is that they did fix the bug with Raynor. The official fix says fixed an issue causing Hyperion to gain benefits from several of Raynor's basic attack talents. So basically, his auto attack talents were contributing to the Hyperion damage, and that got fixed, and his win rate is back to 50% where he belongs, I guess. No, I don't know. I don't want to necessarily go over every single change here, but what did you guys think of this patch so far? And obviously we have another patch to go on at the same time, so let's actually combine the two and just talk about these changes and what do you think the changes impact on the game right now.
I'll
go ahead.
In short, I'll say it again. I didn't have a problem with the auto attack bug because it was just a big detriment if you went that route. If you were to get blinded, and that meant Hyperion did no damage during the length of the blinds and stuff like that. And some heroes have really short cooldowns on their blinds, so, I mean, granted, Hyperion lasts 12 seconds, but you may only get 4 seconds of use out of it. That's why I didn't have a problem with that being a bug. That's why I kind of hope they kind of kept that, because it was just as big of a risk to go that route than it was was a benefit. It was a high risk, high reward type deal. But going through some of the other things in the patches, they nerfed Tazdingo to 90 seconds, and I'm fine with that. That needed to be 90 seconds. Having an unkillable status for for essentially every 56 seconds is ridiculous, and it would it will just lead to hilarious situations. And the armor changes are interesting, and we'll touch more on that as the night goes on. But all in all, I mean, it brings the game into line of where it should be, considering the sustained damage meta that is currently occupying this particular season so far. So, I'm okay with these changes.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty good quality of life changes right now. And as far as some of the other stuff that's not necessarily balance changes that came into this patch as well, is they added a tournament draft mode. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I know for those of us in the tournament scene casting, this will be a lot of fun to play with and finally get a client in game instead of having to use a third party tool for this. So I'm actually really excited to see how it plays out and see how it works, and hopefully the teams like it, because they're given basically the problems with the in-game draft for tournaments right now, or before this patch, was that you couldn't swap picks amongst your team. So say you drafted a warrior first, and your plan wasn't to draft double warrior, but later on in the draft you decide, okay, we're going to go double warrior. Then you're kind of stuck on who's going to play that second warrior. With this, you have 20 seconds now to swap heroes amongst your team. So that is really cool to see. And I'm actually really excited to see all the HGC stuff coming out in the future. And I'm sure they'll be making a big deal about the tournament draft. Powerhour, what about you? What did you think of these changes, and does anything kind of stand out to you?
Well, definitely, I think the big winner here is probably going to be coming out to the point where he may even see some adjustments as a Nubarak. He jumped a lot. That magic armor is having a pretty big impact, especially after the adjustments to heroes like Thrall and Raynor, and the reduction on Bloodlust time. We're seeing things shift a little bit back towards mage, not completely. We're still in that sustained meta, but I do really, really look forward to seeing more Nubarak. I think, or I know he's got some of the best stuns in the game. It just he used to get blown up so easily, so it's very nice to finally have him be around and do good things. There was the changes to Azmodan kind of excite me too. He's already seems to be bouncing up a little bit and seeing a little more play, and he's a guy you didn't really see very much, and it's always been a little disappointing to me because he's been around so long, and he really just kind of like stomps on people new to the game and gets crushed in the higher competitive scenes of the league. So I'll be glad to see those two heroes really come back and make an impact, and I think they're going to stay around. I think Azmodan's actually in a really sweet spot. I do think that Anubarak's base magic armor will probably get brought down just a little bit, maybe, because I believe off the top of my head, and let me double check. Yeah, it's at 25. I see that going down to 20.
Yeah, and kind of speaking of Blizzard kind of changing some of the more meta heavy heroes, Sylvanas has also gained some changes as well. I found this interesting that they're really trying to get people to use mind control, but not adjusting it too much that everyone's just going to instant pick it, because the cast range got decreased as well as the cooldown by a very marginal amount, and they also got rid of paralysis. I know there's been a lot of chatter on social media about them removing this, and then the new talent Dreadful Wake, where Haunting Wave now disables minions and mercenaries for 7 seconds and restores 5 mana per minion hit by that Haunting Wave. So I haven't played around with this. I really want to see if this talent can work, because it sounds like it could really be strong for pushing down waves. Just using Haunting Wave offensively when you're soloing a lane. Obviously, you're taking away your best escape, your only escape as Sylvanas, but I can see this being used pretty powerfully. So I'm excited to see how those changes really shape the meta. We'll talk a little bit about the auto attack meta right now. Both Thrall, you briefly mentioned this, both Thrall and Rhaegar got significant nerfs. Thrall's Earthquake cooldown increased dramatically from 60 to 100 seconds.
That needed to happen.
Yeah.
That it became so good after it started proccing Frostwolf Resilience. I mean, the damage too is significant. It's good enough to be bothersome. Like, you don't want to get trapped in the center of it, and he just all of a sudden became one of the best utility melee assassins in the game just because of how good Earthquake was. So the cooldown definitely needed to go up to fall in line, I think.
Yeah, and Sundering actually got its damage increased a slight bit as well. I don't know if that's going to necessarily help with the picking of Sundering over Earthquake. I think the cooldown is going to be more pushing people towards Sundering again.
Yeah, I don't think the damage increase on Sundering is that impactful. You don't pick Sundering for the damage. You pick it because it's amazing zone control. It's a wonderful way to split a team up and get it, quick couple of picks, on the back of that, So
Sundering will come back if we go back to a burst meta. That's pretty much it. Earthquake's better in a sustained damage meta, and Sundering's better in we isolated a couple guys.
Yeah, you isolate a target or two and blow them up, and that does a whole lot there. Ragnarok's actually getting some nerfs once again. His Empower Sylphyr is getting nerfed, as well as Heroic Difficulty level 20 talent, health and damage bonus reduced from 50 to 25%. That's a pretty significant nerf. 25% of the health pool damage is pretty huge. Yeah, and I do agree, it was needed. So we'll have to see if that pushes players to pick a variety of talents at level 20 instead of just automatically picking heroic difficulty, which has been fun. And I find this interesting. I think we talked a little bit about this, Zex, when these patch changes came up. Varian's charge changes basically got reverted. The cooldown got dropped back down to 14 seconds, and mana cost reduced, and also Warbringer cooldown reduction reduced as well.
Yeah, they nerfed all the super strong heroes, and then, in my opinion, returned Varian to broke status.
Yeah,
because that Warbringer, man, that's just a ridiculous amount of cooldown for that talent.
it's such an insta-pick talent now. I feel always has been.
Yeah, excuse me. Like that Warbringer was pretty much the reason you picked Varian. It was a gap closer and a stun. Like, you can't really on a low cooldown at that. You can't mess with that. That's, like you said, it's pretty much an auto pick talent. I mean, I still see use for the other talent at 4 to prevent all that damage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good talent, but it's really, really, really hard to get away from that low cooldown stun, man. It's just disgusting. And it works with every form on Varian. It works with his taunt. It works with Colossus Smash. It works with even Twin Blades. It's just filthy.
Yeah,
you're gonna see a lot of Varian either getting picked or banned at HGC because he's so variable in what he brings to the table. And I mean, even more so, this really, really works well with taunt Varian.
Yeah, and wouldn't you say Varian's basically a better version of Sonya?
God, yes. Thank you. Yes. He's a better version of Sonya. He has better sustain. He's a great counter to the sustained damage meta right now, simply because of parry and his ability to just soak huge amounts of damage in whatever form he takes. and his ability to get in on people, especially with Colossus. With Colossus Smash as a gap closer, Warbrain, Charge as a gap closer. Like, a lot of people just are. Dreadnought Race is a good point too, but like he's unpredictable in what he brings to a team.
Mm. Yeah, and I mean, if you've listened to Dunk Train talk on, why can't I think of Town Hall Heroes? He talks a lot about how at the high level, just drafting is like 70% of the game right there is getting your draft right. And because Varian brings that uncertainty to drafts, it can really throw the opposing team off or force them into picks that are not necessarily ideal against Varian. Now, I wanted to bring up this last hero before we move on to talk about the armor stuff. But Balrog fan, I know you're big on Diablo, and he's kind of seen quite a bit of resurgence because of the kind of rework that he had. He got some nerfs here, and I'm curious if you think they're going to hurt him significantly or not, because the Fire Stomp it got its damage reduced, as well as the Fire Devil talent damage getting reduced as well.
Yeah, I think it's enough of a reduction to give pause when you want to take those talents now. Part of the thing with Diablo is that he's good at setting things up, and he could do a lot of damage, but he really has zero in the way of escapes. So when you take away Diablo's damage, you kind of take away his escapes, because he escaped by murdering what was ever in front of him and not having somebody chasing him half the time. I really don't know. It's hard to tell in this meta, because when he's not good, it's generally in a burst meta, and it should be interesting to see how this ends up working out for him once the meta shifts, because he won't have the damage to peel the more squishy targets that end up being around in a burst meta. He's already dropped down a little bit. I don't think it's enough to really say, it was an over adjustment or anything, but when you made him as tanky as you did, you had to nerf something. And I back when these changes first came out, I kind of thought it would be the damage. So this doesn't surprise me. I just don't know if these are pickable talents.
Yeah, it definitely really hurts. Like you said, speccing into the W for Diablo there. But all these patch notes are up on heroesofstorm.blizzpro.com. You can check out all the details there, as well as all the latest Heroes news for the game. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the new armor system that Blizzard, they mentioned this in a forum post back in December, I believe, or maybe even earlier than that, but they actually went ahead and implemented it into the game with the zul'jin patch. The significant enough change that they put out a entire blog post explaining everything about it, and we saw in the patch notes for the zul'jin patch, like we had mentioned, Nubarak and also Arthas picking up some of this armor as well. Balrog, can you help break down a little bit about what this means for heroes going forward?
Well, basically anything that was... It's a change to the vulnerable and resistance system, and basically anything that made vulnerable is now going to be an armor reduction, and anything that makes a character resistant is an armor increase. There's 3 types of armor. There's just base armor, which applies to both physical and spell damage. Physical armor applies to physical damage. Spell armor applies to spell damage. Very, very simple and straightforward. I'm a big fan of these changes because I think it's a lot easier to understand something like this, and I'm guessing it's also a lot easier to balance around something like armor as opposed to resistance and vulnerabilities, because those were kind of like those were built into certain heroes, and then who knows how changing like those systems around would have affected just those heroes. Now you can give armor to people who are a little underbuffed, spell armor to people who get blown up too easy, a Nubarak, and basically I think it's going to allow for much better adjustments.
Are you catching that cough that Zex has?
Yeah, yeah. But I think this is an amazing change. I never understood why they didn't have armor in the first place. Mm-hmm. I always assumed it was like a hidden trait that we just didn't get to see. But seeing that it wasn't really a thing, and now it's
Mm-hmm.
it's being applied this way. It's a very, very good change.
Yeah, definitely. And Zex, I actually wanted to ask you a little bit about this because I feel like it primarily directly affects tanks the most in Heroes, and you're primarily a warrior player. So I'm curious of your thoughts on what this brings to the game now.
I think it shifts the meta a little bit because not all just going through the patch notes, you see that some heroes have gotten an armor buff, and it's a varying type of armor. Okay, let's go computer. Like Anubarak got 25 spell armor. I mean, that makes him pretty much great against any mage.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that he still has his dampened magic talent, so that's what is that? That's another 25 spell armor, so that's
something
half
like that.
damage. That's like half damage from spells, so that's great. That makes him a wonderful a mage counter. Arthas got 15% for physical armor now, so that you want him in the front lines. He should see. Granted, he got that health nerf here recently, but I mean, still 15 physical armor in a sustained damage meta is nothing to sneeze at. That's less damage, and and then you can stack additional resistances on top of that as well. So I mean, I like this. It's a subtle way of trying to shake the meta up. I actually really enjoy this. I mean, heck, even Greymane gets 10 armor while he's in Worgen form.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting.
That's actually really good. That's kind of ridiculous for when he makes that commitment and gets in there, because everyone's going to turn on Greymane. Get rid of the rabid dog in the middle of us. And it's going to give him just that little bit of extra sustain he can use to, finish somebody off.
Yeah, and even we were kind of alluding to it that the meta is starting to shift a little bit, and I think looking at HOTS logs, that's actually the case here. And I think we'll see a lot of Nubarak play, because we're seeing actually Jaina and Kael'thas start to creep up, and like you were saying, Nubarak with a 5.2% win rate already gain. A limited number of games, but definitely winning a good chunk of those. So I think people will catch on relatively quick that Nubarak is starting to come back in the meta. And I'm actually really interested to see, because we haven't really been able to see lately what the top end meta is right now with all of these changes since the qualifiers. So I'm really excited for that. And as well, we had the announcement of the HGC Open. So this is Blizzard's basically amateur tournament, open to any team between EU and NA. And interestingly enough, they went ahead and went with Gosu Gamers to run the tournament. So it'll be a little interesting. We haven't seen Gosu Gamers run many tournaments lately. We had, I think in late 2015, early 2016, they had a big online tournament. I forget the name of it, but Enter the Storm maybe? I don't know. Never mind. I don't remember the name of it, but they have run tournaments in the past, but just not lately. So I'm really excited to see this. This is going to be actually a weekly tournament, but it's going to be alternating between EU and North America. And starting next week on the 16th, we're going to have our EU games played out, as well as NA on the 23rd. Tetcher and Grubby will be casting EU. Jay Howe and Solid Jake will be casting North America. And $1,000 is up for grabs each tournament. I imagine that's divided between the top 4 teams. Something like 500, 250. Math is hard. 75, 75, I think. Between that. And then seeding points are going to be available for the top 16 from each tournament. And that is going to be super important, because there's going to be an end tournament at the end of the season for HGC Open, and the top 2 teams from that tournament will go to, I think it's called the Crucible, and they'll face the bottom 2 teams from the respective HGC region and play a best of 7 to get into HGC proper. So we're having the League of Legends style promotion matches. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. This is going to be months long, but I have a feeling that this is actually going to help bring potentially more sponsors into the amateur scene, because these are weekly tournaments, and if your team is good enough and is constantly making top 8, top 4, that means you're going to be in front of these eyeballs every week that this tournament is happening.
Yeah, and we've already seen that with who was it? Murloc getting picked up by Tempo Storm.
Tempo Storm, yeah.
Which I hope they avoid the Tempo Storm curse. Let's not act like it exists. Tempo Storm always comes roaring out of the gate. They look really strong, really good, and then they fly it apart.
Just blame the Funyuns.
They go to. There is nothing wrong with Funyuns. You watch your filthy mouth.
Oh my goodness!
But and the other 2 Bs got picked up by somebody, and I can't remember who.
Freedom, or was that another team? I can't remember. There's been so much.
I don't have it off the top of my head.
So much Heroes news as far as the HGC stuff. It's been pretty funny.
Yeah, but 2 Bs got picked up by somebody, and that was interesting. And then the Miami Heat today bought
Misfits.
into Misfits. That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Liquid Chris now being represented by LeBron's old stomping grounds.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, just lots of really crazy stuff in esports just in general.
I think that's kind of exciting. I think that is kind of exciting, seeing traditional professional sports teams looking at this and going, hey, this is growing. This isn't going away. Mm-hmm. I think that's fantastic that it's finally. Ashling, stop it. Ashling giving Team Liquid some crap in our chat. That these traditional sports teams are coming in and buying stock. I mean, let's look at what Echo Fox did recently in the fighting game community and snapped up EG's leftovers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
got
so
some
huge.
Really incredible players. I mean, they picked up some of the strongest players in the fighting game community's history, in Justin Wong, Taquito, Momochi. These are world champions, and now they're all on the same team, and that's kind of disgusting. To see a team that stacked in any discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll shift it away from there, but this is a great. The HGC is really a great opportunity, especially for new teams, teams who want to try to throw out that lucrative contract and get their sponsors exposure. Because like you said, it's constant exposure throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking of exposure, though, I'm a little bummed we haven't heard exact details of when HGC is happening. I thought I read something on Twitter about it maybe starting on the 20th, which would be next Friday. But it was a tweet that got deleted by a certain player. But it's also fun to finally see, once again, the Naventic GFE rivalry get started up. I posted this in the Twitch chat, but basically, Naventic's Zuna, who never ever runs his mouth, put out onto Twitter that basically Gale Force won't say anything on Twitter because they know they'll have to remove it later, and immediately Michael Udall of Gale Force says that Gale Force will easily beat Naventic the next time that they play. So it started, folks. The trash talk has begun, and I couldn't be more excited to hear these teams trash talk each other, because that rivalry is really fun, especially with the whole storyline of Fan going to GFE and B-Kid going back and forth. I mean, it's just been this should be fun, and it should be a really great matchup. I hope it's actually like the first match that we see on stream. That would be a great way to kick off HGC.
That would be, and I'm always appreciative of any. I don't want to call it drama, but we'll call it a storyline. Let's call this a storyline. Any NA storyline that doesn't involve Equinox jumping to another team.
Speaking of that, correct. Equinox is on GFE now.
What?
Yeah, he went to GFE.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I love you, Equinox. Never change. Please never change.
Dreadnought asked a pretty good question about the sports teams getting involved. He says it's worrying because they're in it for the money, not really for the players and the idea of esports. However, what knowledge and ideals would they bring that could better esports and grow it faster? And I would
business
say,
side of things. I would say
the business side of things. B, I mean, you're talking about a guy like Rick Fox who has a passion for this stuff a little bit. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. And, I mean, yeah, the money's involved, but there are plenty of investments you can make. He obviously likes owning champions and having a stable of them to compete, and he brings a winning championship attitude, being a former, athletic champion. I think bringing that kind of focus and that kind of backing to a team can only make it more confident.
Yeah, most definitely.
Confidence goes a long way, Swagger, and saying, like, yeah, we're owned by, the Miami Heat. They trust us, that's got to do something for your confidence.
And honestly, I'm much more inclined to be more welcoming of already established entities coming into the scene with a lot of backing already and money, instead of just some 18-year-old coming in with daddy's cash and creating an esports team, which happens more often than it should.
Can we really say Rick Fox won a championship? Because he won while playing for LA during Kobe when he was at his strongest. Does that really count?
And Darko's got a ring, baby.
All right.
Welcome to the NBA Power Hour.
Yeah.
Birdman has a ring.
That's true.
Right place, right time. You're still around champions. All right.
Fair enough.
Oh my goodness.
So it looks like they're doing the battlegrounds. They revealed the battlegrounds for what's coming up in HGC.
Yeah, they did reveal the battleground pool for HGC. It is all of the currently available battlegrounds minus Garden of Terror and Blackheart's Bay. They also revealed the rules. There will be a team picked for the first map ban, and that means they will be second ban and pick as far as the drafting of heroes phase of the game, which makes sense. That's pretty standard procedure for these styles of games. I think we're unanimous that Garden of Terror not being in here is a very good thing, because of the quality of games on that battleground is not exactly of the highest. So we're excited to not have to endure that.
Get rid of Battlefield of Eternity, put in Pirates Bay, and I would have been happy. And I don't know, I'm not seeing Haunted Mines in there. So I'm a little chaffed at that.
Yeah, Haunted Mines might not be available as well. So they might want to wait to see how the play plays out on that until they decide to really jump into adding a new quote unquote battleground into the pool. I'm with you though. I'm a little bummed that Blackheart's Bay is not going to be in the pool. I feel like most of the games on there have been really exciting at the highest level. Takes me back to seeing GFE and Michael Udall on Azmodan just wrecking people's faces, dunking across the map. We won't be getting that necessarily just on Blackhearts, but I'm glad that we're having a limited battleground pool, even if it's only a couple taken off.
If we're talking about Michael Udall, he needs better glasses. His glasses just chap me so bad. Like, they don't work with his face at all.
I thought I was going to be commenting, but instead I'm laughing at that. All right. I've finally given in. I now officially hate watching Garden of Terror as well. I used to find it kind of interesting just because it was a longer map, but yeah, I'm to the point where I hate it, and I'm glad it's not there. I I don't know. I think Towers of Doom is my least favorite map to watch, just because it's kind of it can end in a very anticlimactic way, where like a team kind of gets a channel chokehold and then they leverage that the rest of the way. Um, every now and again, it's pretty competitive and exciting, but that's a map that's a lot funner to play than it is to watch, which is the opposite of Battlefield of Eternity for me. I absolutely hate playing on Battlefield of Eternity, but it generally makes for some pretty exciting matches and fights around those infernals. So,
Because we're not professional.
correct.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't like playing Battlefield at all.
I hate Battlefield, but I am in agreement with you. It does make for some exciting hot action right there, just because pros know better how to play it than I do.
Yeah. I don't really care one way or another about Blackheart's Bay, personally. I mean, it's an all right map to watch. It's an all right map to play. It's somewhere in the middle to bottom for me. I knew the newer ones were going to have to be on there. So, and what they'll be doing too is each team's going to get to choose one of the available maps and ban it, and then the team that banned first will get to select what battleground of the remaining 7 they will play on, and the other team's going to be getting the first pick of the draft. I think it's a very solid system to set up around, especially since these are going to be the maps for, arguably 5 months, since they're not changing till mid-season.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Let me double check those.
4 to 5 months. So I'm glad they came up with a good system and have already got it implemented. And this gives teams a chance to kind of prepare strategies and think about what they're going to do. Know that they'll never get sucked into maps they don't want to be on and whatnot. So.
All right, so I guess a little bit else, just kind of speculating on things as we were talking about HGC. Do we think formerly Denial, is going to get picked up by a big org? Like, it seems like they've got to be getting picked up by somebody here. Is they got the guaranteed spot from getting second place at the North American Fall Regionals. Yeah, I feel like they're definitely one of the teams that is just itching to get picked up once again, and they're a strong team. They're 3/5 of Cloud9, so that seems like something that's a no-brainer, and I'm surprised we haven't heard any news about that yet.
Evil Geniuses is going to pick him up.
No, they're not.
You heard it here first. Evil Geniuses
I don't even have
pick up Denial.
I don't even have insider info, and I know that's not happening.
PPD legendary for making bad decisions.
Triggered.
Welcome to the Jimmy is Triggered Power Hour.
Yeah, but I'm hoping we get news soon, because all the pro players were tweeting about how they went to a summit at I think in Irvine, and Blizzard gave them a bunch of swag, and hopefully that stuff is available because it looks really cool. There's a lot of jackets and T-shirts and stuff with the HGC logo, so we'll have to see where that goes. But this is just really quickly before HGC gets started. Who do you think is kind of the strong teams in this? Just a reminder of who is who. We have Denial, former Denial, Tempo Storm, formerly Astral, formerly Morlock Geniuses, Naventic, Gale Force Esports, Team Freedom, which was Grandmaster Jackets during the qualifiers. No Tomorrow, Jason Tiger JK, Talking Trees are the notable players there. Dumpster Tier Superstars, which apparently Blizzard has forced them to change their name once again. So I find that absolutely hilarious. But that's Saray, Icona, Faye, etc. And then this is one we've talked about a lot before, but Chew ate my hot doge. Doggy. Sorry.
Triggered.
Who do you see as being the big teams in this group for North America? I'm gonna start with you, Balrog fan.
I still got to give it up to whatever Murloc Genius's Gale Force. They're calling themselves Gale Force now, correct?
Murloc is Tempo Storm now.
Wait, Murloc Geniuses was Astral Authority.
Astral Authority dropped the team, and Tempo Storm picked them up.
Okay.
I know we need a chart for all of this.
Yeah, I need a Pepe Sylvia flow chart to keep track of the way Heroes League has been. The Heroes teams have been changing pro players this past month and a half. But I mean, I say that with almost no confidence because I have no idea how these teams are going to look and play together. I really, really cannot wait to see it get started. And I'm hoping seeing these teams play each other on a scheduled competitive basis is going to help them be more competitive on the international scene. That, of course, remains to be seen. But I'm excited to get going. Early pick, yeah, I'll go with what are they?
Tempo Storm.
Tempo Storm.
Tempo Storm.
I see. Tempo Storm wasn't a team I would have picked 6 months ago. So, but they're a different team now. So hey, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tempo Storm and Gale Force being my top two. I feel like Gale Force is really hungry after not qualifying for BlizzCon, and I think they're a team that can bounce back from that adversity. And I know that BlizzCon was their goal, and them just dropping that series to Denial in the tiebreaker was just heartbreaking for them. But I think them adding Equinox is going to be good. It definitely is kind of a wild card because we know how Equinox is kind of sink or swim, really. He either look really good or just like he's dead weight on a team, to be quite honest.
Or gets clowned on by a Chen.
Yeah. But yeah, those are going to be my two early favorites. Going on, Naventic could squeak in there as well to be part of the top three. So it'll be interesting to see. Zach, so what about you?
I'm going to go with Grandmaster Jackets and former Denial.
Okay, wow. Anything about Grandmaster Jackets that kind of sticks out to you?
Just watching them play through the open qualifiers, they just looked incredibly strong. They played tight. They played like they've been playing for a while, and now they have to play for a while. Thank you, HGC.
Would you say they did a good job of staying tight?
They did a wonderful job of staying tight. What happened to Urho? Who is he playing for? He's playing for somebody.
He's on somebody's team, I think. No Tomorrow. Okay. Arrow, he's Arrow, Jason, Tiger JK, Talking Trees, and it doesn't say who the Thief is, but that's a pretty solid team.
When can we get Urho on the show? I'd like a reunion.
Oh my goodness. We'll work on that. We'll see if we can make that happen.
And on the note of former Denial, I think they're really hungry. They're gonna be coming out firing on all cylinders. I think because they need a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and someone's going to snap that team up.
Yeah, and I don't remember if they've announced their fifth yet because they did drop Glaurung, who went to Chuema Hot Doge.
Was he the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag was Glaurung the problem.
No one may never. People may never know. Who knows? But yeah, really quickly before we wrap up the show, kind of a short show this week. A lot of news we got through though, but wanted to give.
Usually we have 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, that's true.
To toss topics back and forth, so they tend to get drawn out a little more. So
I wanted to give Balrog fan a chance to talk a little bit about one of our partners with the show, Legion, presented by Lenovo.
Yes. Legion, presented by Lenovo, a great partner of ours. They actually selected me for a total. I got basically this giant swag pack of stuff. The most important, obviously, being a laptop, a really powerful gaming laptop. It's the IdeaPad Y700. It's amazing. This thing, I had a potato before, so it's a definite upgrade for me. But I mean, it's got an i7. It's got an amazing graphics card in here. I'm bringing up the exact specs right now. That's my fault. I apologize. It has the Intel Core i7 6700, and that's a great processor, really. It's been a huge upgrade for me. They sent me some cool, really nice the Y series gaming headset too. No, if you guys could see that, obviously podcast listeners can't. And then I got a Y series mouse as well, backpack, a mechanical keyboard, all kinds of stuff they sent me. I'm basically in nerd heaven right now, and a friend of mine actually was looking at gaming laptops recently because he plays in a smaller space and was looking for things or looking for something more compact other than his desktop, especially now that he has a younger daughter. And I said, hey, look what I just got. And he's actually considering buying this now within a week. So it's a very powerful machine. I couldn't be happier with it. So, and a big thanks to Legion by Lenovo for hooking me up with this stuff.
Yeah, Legion by Lenovo was able to hook up a lot of the members of BlizzPro with some really awesome stuff to help us continue bringing awesome content to you guys, as well as I'm sure we're going to have some sort of giveaway. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure we'll have something with Lenovo going forward. But yeah, that is actually going to be it. If you're new to the show, make sure to stay tuned stay tight actually, because we are going to go with the game portion coming up. After every show, we like to play with our viewers and our patrons. Patrons will always have first priority. Usually what we've been doing lately is just getting everyone together and playing the Brawl of the Week. And I have a feeling that that's what we'll do this week because the Mage Brawl looks really fun. I haven't had a chance to play that yet, so I'm really excited to play alongside with you guys and all the viewers as well. I did mention it really quickly there, but patreon.com/heroespower is our Patreon page. If you feel so inclined, it really helps us out to support the show that way, and all the assorted costs with running a weekly show, all sorts of hardware issues, software issues, etc. It really helps us out. There's some really great tiers there. We still are looking for some people to donate or contribute towards the replay tier, where we would go ahead and cast your particularly fun game that you had, and just have a lot of fun with that. There's also the t-shirt tier at the $25 tier, and it has that logo that's down there, that Heroes Powerhour logo adorned on the shirt for you for picking up that tier. But yeah, we are going to go to our game portion in just a moment here. Make sure to join the BlizzPro channel in game, and also discord.blizzpro.com. As well, if you're looking to catch up on past episodes of the Heroes Power, youtube.com/BlizzPro is the way to go for that, for video, as well as blizzpro.com. Search for the Heroes Power there. We have the audio feed on there as well, if that is what you're interested in. And on the YouTube channel is all of our other wonderful podcasts on the BlizzPro Network. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific. Westmarch Workshop for Diablo 3 Season 9 just started up, and they have all sorts of wonderful news about that. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific is the Payload Podcast, Everything Overwatch, which I'm also a part of. And Sundays, 7 p.m. Pacific, is Well Met for Hearthstone. Any closing thoughts before we go? Zex, how are you feeling over there?
I'm okay, I think. I've had a cough a few times, but yeah, I'm good.
That's what the mute button's for.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Charlie.
I'm not dead yet.
Not dead yet. Are you dead yet, Mon? Balrog fan, how about you? Any closing thoughts before we get started into our games here?
My Twitter's right down there. I'm going to be streaming a lot more with this new laptop, so come check me out and watch me play random old nostalgic games like Mega Man and such. I usually tweet out what I'm doing. I'm going to look into buying some more graphic-intensive games, though, and trying those out as well, so maybe XCOM 2 or something. And then, obviously, I'm on there a lot with Warcraft and whatnot.
Yeah, and those of you...
It's just going to be Warcraft he's going to be playing.
Pretty much.
Hush. I'm kicking my habit, all right?
Those of you watching right now live on Twitch, make sure to check chat. There is a link to a laptop giveaway from Legion by Lenovo, so make sure to enter that and let them know we sent you. But yeah, that'll be it for episode 88 of the Heroes Power. Make sure to join us in-game /join Bliss Pro in the Heroes client, and we will see you next week for another wonderful episode of the Heroes Power. Stay tight.
Bye!